So how do you feel? Like, are you with snitching or against snitching?
Listen,
because like, all right, at the end of the day, you're friends with Mama Duck, so you want her to get justice for her son, but then you come from Chicago where it's this don't snitch shit.
That's
so
a really good question, because honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth, and I'm gonna be 100% honest.
Keep it 100.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
Keep it 1,000.
1,000, a million. Okay?
Whoa! Keep it a Google.
A Google. Okay. Just working in this environment and studying all of these stories and interviewing all these people, dude, nobody is innocent. It's been murders on each side. This person did this person got back at this person got back. It's no innocent side. So it's like impossible for you to take a side, because if you're really into it, you know the intricate details that don't even hit the internet. You know what such and such did to such and such. You know this and this and this. It's like, dude, you can't pick a side. Everybody is wrong. This whole entire beef is insane, and it keeps going, and it's going a tit for tat. It's like, dude, you can't even really stop. I mean, it's like everybody has done wrong. Everybody is wrong. And I think that this was just such the ultimate, like, this was the most unnecessary. Everybody was taking off. Duck was taking off. Moab was doing his music thing. King Von was doing his music thing. Dirk is who Dirk is. Like, everybody was taking off. So it was kind of like, why? Like, to me, I feel like it was just so unnecessary. And I just don't think... It was just so, like, Duck should have been here.
So are you with snitching or against snitching?
I'm against snitching. When you get into this game, as a blogger and as a radio personality, as a blogger and as a reporter, rappers have a certain trust in you. And if you build up this trust with people and you're talking to them and you have this, like, rapport with people, you can't just go back and start snitch. That's insane. And I think it makes all of us look like... I mean, honestly, this is just a case-by-case basis, but for it to be a blogger that just turned state's evidence is crazy. And as a blogger, it's just like, damn.
How does Mama Duck feel? Is she happy that Trenches News is actually helping her get justice?
I think so. Yeah, I think, and then he was also friends with Duck. So it's just, this is like a very... very different and special situation.
Okay, but if we all agree that it's probably a good thing if a bunch of murderous psychopaths who are happy to gun down your favorite rapper are locked up, I think we should all probably agree that if you run down on somebody in front of a designer store and kill them because of your gang beef with them, you should probably go to jail. All Trenches News did, to his credit, is basically help facilitate these people going to jail. And as much as in a lot of situations, I hate to see people get snitched on, you know, like if I found out that Remo was selling coke at the club and somebody snitched on him, I'd be upset. But when it comes to something as serious as this, it's hard for me to really say that what Trenches News did is wrong. It might have just been self-serving in the sense that, you know, he basically just did it to enrich himself. But at the same time, if he was really cool with Duck and he wanted to see his killers locked up, I mean, I can't really hold it against him, right?
Exactly. So it's like this is such a touchy situation and such a mixed kind of thing where I can't even... I guess it just depends on what you would do in a situation. You can't say it's right or wrong because, like, in his eyes, he's helping the Duck case. And even though he might have been friends with the people that he's testifying against.
Yeah, he pointed Kenny Mack out like 7 times.
Yeah, 7 times.
He said that was his
with
boy.
The yellow marker.
If the person who was snitching was like the guy who drove the car when they went to go kill Duck, then we could all look at that guy and say, like, oh, you're a scumbag because you were a part of this criminal conspiracy and now you're talking in order to take the heat off you and you're making it worse for all your buddies. Trenches News, you can't really say that.
Exactly.
He's totally separate from all this shit.
Exactly. I think it's just more of a shock thing. I think when they put it in the Sun Times and they like unmasked him and put him, you know, in the paper, I think people were just really surprised about it. But like I said, I have nothing against Trenches News. I can't really say right or wrong on the situation because everything is just so convoluted and everybody is wrong and right at the same time.
I don't know if he was being 100% serious, but I asked WAG 100, like, how many people in Southern California are getting paid those sort of checks, the $25,000 checks, to basically give informant information to the cops? He goes, probably 1,000. I think he said like 500 to 1,000. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? There's that many people talking to the cops and helping put these cases together. Like, That's unbelievable if that's true.
I think it's definitely
yeah.
more than we know.
Yeah, probably, because it's obviously in their best interest to keep it mega secret.
But what does that do for bloggers and reporters and rapper relationships?
You got to get our own informants. If I was Trapple Ross or if I was Swamp Stories and I wanted to take my content to the next level, all you need is a fucking snitch.
How would you play that though?
Take the information they give you and write about it, and hopefully the guy doesn't get caught. If he gets caught, then I guess they're gonna kill him. But
Right. So what's the next step? Like, what happens after the case is over?
to Trench's news,
Yeah.
this motherfucker better get a spot
think
in
he's
Vegas
in
like King
Chicago.
Yeller or something. I don't know. Get away from Chicago is
What
my
happened
advice
with
to him.
King Yell and 1080 Jake today?
Hold on, before we
yeah.
get into that.
Okay,
Are you
let's
still?
come back to
Are you still? Are you going to be covering the case anymore? Like going back?
I am. I'm actually gonna drop a video tonight about what I just told you guys.
Yeah.
I am. I think that it's just in my heart. Like certain
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
I just want to make sure that I cover it and I report it the right way, and I have the opportunity to go there and cover it. So I think I'm gonna continue to. I'm gonna watch it until the verdict comes out.
Yeah.
It's just a very important case, even though, like I said, media isn't covering it like they're covering the Tory case, or but they should be. And I think a lot of it has to do with it being in Chicago. People don't know how to navigate the city like how they might in other places. Because where was the Tory case? In LA?
Yeah, but I mean, the Tory case had like every salacious angle you could possibly
That's
have.
true.
Whereas the Duck thing, really, at the end of the day, it's just another depressing ass Chicago drill rapper murder, of which there have been dozens or hundreds.
Are
over
they
the
gonna
years,
play
you
This
know?
one is
footage?
crazy because
Yeah.
it was broad daylight in the richest area. Like this
Yeah.
is, have you ever been to the Gold Coast?
I think I know. Yeah, that
It is
area.
like, he got killed across the street from Dolce & Gabbana.
Yeah.
This is the richest, and Chicago's the third largest market. So even though it doesn't get that much love, it's
Yeah.
what? New York, LA, Chicago. So Chicago, but like I said, people are not flying to Chicago to cover it like that. So
Yeah,
I just have the advantage.
And there's
left.
so little money put into like local news and like
Exactly.
covering stories and shit in general that it's just like unlikely to happen. I wanted to ask before we do the King Yeller shit or whatever, why'd you move to New York? What are you doing out there?
So that's a good question. I ended up reaching, I think, the level of, and I've watched the interview with shout out 16. I think that when you work in Chicago and you get to a certain level, you probably feel like you need to leave. That's like the myth. Like, okay, I gotta leave Chicago to get on. And I think that I've had a little bit of that. I just always wanted to live in New York, and I always had that love for it. So I worked at iHeartMedia as a traffic reporter for 4 years. And I finally realized that I was never going to be on WGCI, and I wasn't going to get that to that point. So I was just really trying to leave, and I wanted to go to New York for some reason. It was just like in my heart, I wanted to go to New York. And I ended up just taking every opportunity that I could. So there was a radio personality that I used to obsess over. Like I just used to love him, and he's a legend. I don't know if I want to say the name,
Say
but
the
you'll
name.
probably get it. No. Like,
Star?
hell no.
What, it went bad
Not
or
hell
something?
no, but hey,
why don't you want to give him any attention?
No, it's not even that. It's more about like the way that it went down, because I ended up not. Should I say this? And
Air
I'm
it
gonna
out.
fucking
Let's get
regret it.
spicy. You won't regret it. Think about what people
It's
like.
your story.
People watch baddies.
I know. What is that about?
I don't know, but I'm saying people like drama. I watched one episode of Baddies and it really fucked me up.
I learned everything about baddies from Instagram, so
Oh,
I know
really?
about Rolly.
I paid for Zeus. And
Oh,
so
did
far I
you?
watched one episode of Baddies, yeah.
It's kind of like Bad Girls Club back in the day.
Yeah, but I never watched that.
Did you? Didn't? Okay. Because I used to watch the original Natalie Young when I was like too young to watch that.
Okay, who hurt you?
See, it wasn't even a hurt situation. Basically, I just really wanted to move to New York. Like, I was so dedicated, and I really wanted to move to New York. I got to the height of working at iHeartMedia for 4 years as a traffic producer and reporter. And I just really wanted to leave Chicago. So I was trying to take every opportunity I could. And I ended up printing out my resume and going to this, like, event where this legendary radio personality was, and I was like, I'm gonna give him my resume. I'm gonna, you know what I mean?
Fun flex.
Nope, I will say. And I went there and I gave him, and I tried to like talk to him, he paid me dust. He was just, so I was like sad. I'm like, oh, and I was leaving, and I gave it to somebody that was working the cameras. I was like, can you just give him this? and tell him like, you know, I want to move to New York and I'm already kind of established here. And at the time I was already interviewing Bibby and Herb and everybody in Chicago. So I'm already working I'm already in the Chicago mix and I'm already working at iHeartMedia and everything's cool and I wanted to leave. And I ended up giving it to his manager, his program director.
Yeah.
And like he called me 3 weeks later and was like, wow, your resume is great. If you really want to move to New York, you can help me build this social media video thing that we're doing. Because that was at the beginning of all the video when people were just starting to do video. So I was like, bet. In 2 weeks, I put my apartment up. I sold all my stuff. I packed my car up. And I drove a Nissan Altima to New York by myself. It took me 21 hours. It was supposed to be 14. It took me 20. By myself, I found my apartment on Craigslist.
Yeah.
And I moved out there and he really ended up giving me like a part-time job. And that's how I got out the mud. Like I literally started working and just helping him shoot videos. And then in between, he would let me do interviews. And that was at SiriusXM. So,
DJ
Sway.
Shout out to Reggie Hawkins. He ended up just helping me establish myself in New York at the beginning. So
Sway is Reggie Hawkins?
No. The Sway was
Oh.
Reggie was the program director at
Okay. So you're
Sirius
still not
XM
telling
at
us
the
who the on-camera personality was.
because I never ended up connecting with him.
Oh. But you had a part-time job, but
I ended up helping like the video stuff at Hip Hop Nation Sirius XM, like helping them shoot their videos. And then in between, I was doing like interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up interviewing a whole bunch of people up there. Like I did Meek Mill, Boosie, all kinds of different people. And I literally, like I said, I packed up all my stuff and drove to New York from Chicago. So it was like taking those big opportunities.
Yeah.
And I really just kept taking those big opportunities. And then I was doing that for 2 years. And then I ended up meeting some people that knew Diddy.
Because you ended up on Revolt.
Yes. And that's how I ended up at Revolt.